record, Mike. Very comfortable early on, but when the going started to get tough, Scotland have just started to falter a wee bit.
First time at this level, demanding.
Some of these mines. There's the Irish record leading into this match, just the one loss as such, and by only 7 runs to bury Kenya. In fact, they lost to Kenya both times. I think it too directly. The captain may have been involved somewhat. I think they may have got home. They'd had more momentum earlier on, and Ireland, well, they could have been playing on Saturday, but they're here today. On the drive, Lockhart, that's a very good shot. May go all the way and produce the first boundary. It does. Excellent cover drive. Might be the playoff for third, but it is a very important match. On the drive and through the cover region. Now this will be a good contest. It may go all the way. Neil Doken, hot pursuit, desperate dive, but the ball wins the race.
And look at this for a few. It's a very handsome drive, and if there's one player on the ground who could have run that down, it's this effervescent, ebullient young man.
Don't ask me how old he is, please, but we believe he was around about 43. Now, this is a top edge, gone straight up in the air. Doker's underneath it and takes the catch. And
brave piece of fielding. Tries to flick him over mid-wicket. Up it's gone. An absolute eternity. Starting to make the move. He's gone for 11 from 17 at 1 for 19.
First look for us on television anyway at Michael Smith, right-hander, coming in at 3 for Scotland.
And Phillip, the man out for 11. But look at Lockhart. He struggled in the previous game. He's now got 10 from just 30, from as many as 38 balls rather. That's why that run rate is still pegged down to 2.5. Derek Heasley.
He just missed out there.
That's a bold shot. That's gone very, very high. Now, if he'd managed to get a little more length rather than height, he'd probably have been a bit happier. But as it happens, Smith will come back for 3. Now, did Indian try for a second there? Lewis, the fielder, it's 35 for 1.
Well, and a good level of waterproofing as well, I think, required, because look at that weather. The Bomo hasn't done his job, and the ground staff getting ready with the covers. This is a big disappointment. Hopefully, it won't last for too long. And, in fact, they are going to come off. The cover's coming on. And that really is disappointing. It won't help anybody. The batsmen will have to readjust when they restart. The ball will presumably be wet for the fielders, and it's really going to help nobody at all.
Well, 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, isn't it? I mean, at the moment, I'm not too unhappy about coming off now, because that gives the captain a time to regroup and just go over what has happened and how we plan the rest of the innings. And of course, as you quite rightly say, the batsmen have got to come out and start again.
You can see the players retreated to their tents, the sodden Scottish flag hanging limply at the pole there, and the water building up. The ground staff made Herculean efforts to try and clear the lake, including cutting new drainage channels, which did a reasonably good job. And I say reasonably good job because you can see the Scottish batsmen making their way to the middle. And who would have thought that within 24 hours of all that water being on the field, that this match would have resumed, with Scotland at 56 for 1, 19 overs bowled. 1 or 2 changes to the conditions now, in as much that it's going to be a 45-over match.
I think the most important thing about this is that at the moment they're talking in terms of a 45-over contest, which still brings real legitimacy to the event. I think the aspect that everyone feared was that it might be reduced to a 20 or 25 over with slogathon, and that would have been a very cheap way, and it would have devalued the competition and would have devalued this particular game.
No ball called. Now, the Irish suffered yesterday with the number of extras. There were 9 wides bowled, which in 19 overs is not very good.
Wide.
Talking of rhythm, Mark Patterson obviously hasn't found his yet.
Wide.
That's another very wide delivery. Now this is problems for Ireland. They're not only extra runs, they're allowing the batsman to have a look at it early doors.
Here, pal.
Just falling short of Justin Benson, who again, I rather suspect might have lost his footing as he went for that. Couldn't get any purchase on the ground to get the dive in.
There's a lot of pressure now on Lockhart and Smith. Of course, Smith was brought back into the Scottish lineup because of the inactivity at the top of the order in the semi-final. Smith considered to be a very naturally talented player, but has not made the adjustment to the difficult artificial surfaces that have been on offer here in this tournament.
He might not have made the adjustment, but he looks far too good a player to me to be left out of a side that has been struggling for runs everywhere through the order.
And indeed, of course, he did have one very productive return earlier in the tournament.
And that's a catch for Justin Benson. The end of Lockhart, who in a way has been put out of his misery, but I'm sure he won't see it that way.
Lockhart there for a long time, 21 from 69, it's 2 for 75.
George Salmond, the Scottish captain, making his way to the middle at the fall of Lockhart's wicket. Salmond is batting extremely well out here. He's made the adjustment. Averaging 41 is a fine performance. That's a quite glorious shot. Well, don't worry about ICC Trophy. That would have been graceful in the World Cup itself.
There's nothing more attractive than to watch than the square drive. Just leans into it. He's timed at an absolute treat, just ahead of point.
Just a reminder, Scotland have 45 overs available to them. This is the 28th, just 17th to come after this. Up, just short. And that'll probably go all the way it does now. Now, Ian Smith's been talking in this tournament a great deal about fielders at mid-on and mid-off being back on the line. He was a good 3 or 4 yards in. That's it. Umpire Venkatrag has decided he doesn't need the replay. He's given him, so George Salmond is gone. That is a very, very big wicket.
A good bit of work by the keeper, Andy Patterson, because it was nice full delivery. He didn't have a lot of time once it went past the bat. So the captain, Salmond, goes for 7. It's 94 for 3.
Greg Williamson is the new batsman for Scotland.
Quite impressed with Williamson's latter half of his innings the other day against Bangladesh. When he got going and got into it, he looked to strike the ball very well. I thought Ireland were quite impressive chasing runs the other day. They'll get a boundary here by the look of it, or will it pull up? Yes, they will. And I think that's the fault of the captain here, Justin Benson. As Scotland bring up the 100, he's just a wee bit too generous.
High in the air, and that will go for 6. That's a fine blow from Williamson. Used his feet. Perhaps didn't swing quite through the line, but got hold of it right in the middle of the bat and sent it away over long off for 6. We'll try to do it again, and over the top for 4 more.
Well, there's your good field placing, Ralph, from the captain. You've got to have someone out on the offside protecting square of the wicket. You really do. This is a gift of 3 runs.
125 for 3 after 34. It's well placed into the gap on the offside and has got 4 runs for it. That was a fine shot.
Excellent shot.
And more runs here. Alan Lewis will probably cut it off as he comes round from long leg. 2 runs, and they were well run. A very fine innings from Mike Smith, not out 49, has taken him 88 balls. Williamson 26 from 24. Trouble here. We're looking for the third umpire to make a decision.
Well, interesting here that he didn't throw the ball. He must have been supremely confident that he could get back in time. And at this point, he must have been thinking, I'll throw it. Then he must have thought, no, I won't. Now the dive, does the dive beat the bat? Yeah, I think it does. Only just, though. It's very much a line call. We just say the stumps are broken there. The bail's up. The bat's short. Yeah, he's gone, Mike Smith. Good bit of work, Neil Doak.
132 for 4. And Mike Smith is out for 49. Welcome back to the Keelak Club in Kuala Lumpur. Ireland against Scotland in this third place playoff match. The second day of it. It's Michael Allingham, the new batsman. He's a Scottish B rugby player. Comes from the Heriots, who's the one of the big rugby establishments in Scotland. Got him. The Corton bowl, well, Patterson hasn't been bowling well, but my word, he did well to hang on to that one.
And he couldn't stop it in time, Williamson. Corton bowl Patterson for 27, 136 for 5.
Alec Davis, the wicketkeeper, makes his way to the middle as the new batsman.
Scotland 169. They're scoring at 4.02 as Derek Heasley comes back on, which means Paul McCrum will not go through. Bowled him. Playing right across the line, down the wicket. And as Mike Carr told you a short while back, the full toss under waist high is not a bad ball to bowl at all at this stage, because it invariably brings the element of surprise with it. So Scotland lose a crucial wicket at this stage.
Watch him here using the full toss again that he employed very successfully with the first ball of the over. And Davis goes for the big hoik, fails to connect. 17 from 20, and it's 6 for 172.
Ian Bevan is the new man, batted up at number 4 the other day. You never know, he can hit the ball. He'll pick up 2 quite easily. Patterson. They edge it, and the family duo have done it. Got Patterson, bowled Patterson, it goes up on the board. That's a pretty good catch actually, because the ball was going away from the wicket-keeper. He kept control, and that is the end of Bevan. Stuart Kennedy is the new batsman because Ian Bevan has just been dismissed. The Irish will be pretty happy with that scoreboard, 179 for 7. Just a bit disappointed in those middle overs maybe, when Williamson is going strong, when they probably conceded too many. That's actually pretty well bowled because he kept following him. They should struggle for a second if the throw is good. Not a good enough blow for them. Gone for the first quickly enough. Direct hit would have seen the batsman on his way back. So Heasley to Allingham with 3 balls to go. In the air, Doak was after it. He had to throw on the turn, and that made it pretty easy for him to come back. So last ball coming up. So Heasley to Kennedy. He's chipped that in the air again. They're going to go for 2 for sure. There's Allingham on his way back. There's nothing to lose. The throw is on its way. And umpire Hare decides that that is out.
Well, how satisfactory was that score of 188? Certainly the Scottish camp at the halfway stage were fairly bullish, if a little disappointed for poor old Mike Smith, run out on 49. For Ireland, Mark Patterson, who's on Surrey's books this season, was the leading wicket taker.